Good morning and welcome from Melbourne. A bit of a midweek CTF update today. So, lots going on at the moment. Final preparations are underway for the Pecan Plus, the high school Capture the Flag competition coming up on the 3rd and 4th of August. A couple of different iterations of that going on around the country. The competition day is a Sunday, the 4th of August. Most of the sites are doing a training day on the 3rd as well. In Melbourne at Monash campus, they're doing something slightly different where they're sending out a training pack to for people to work through on prior to the event. So it's going to be a fantastic weekend. So last year we had, I think it was about 120, just over 120 teams, maybe 126, just under 500 high school students from around the country competing in Pecan Plus. It was absolutely brilliant. So if you're in corporate Australia, you have teenagers, if you have tech savvy people, if you have people who are into coding or gaming or STEM or any of those kind of things, and are curious and have a bit of creative problem solving, a bit of skills in the area of solving puzzles and things like that. Capture the Flag competition is excellent for that young teenage cohort who are still discovering, where they sit in their education pathways or what they want to do in life. So it's a great opportunity for them to connect with cybersecurity and participate in something that's really incredible, that they can solve some problems. We have reverse engineering, binary exploit, crypto. We have digital forensics, miscellaneous, and even one called steganography, which it's very interesting, hiding secret messages and images and other file structures. So it's quite good too. Across the country, from coast to coast, this is going to be happening on the 3rd and 4th of August. So, led, of course, by Edith Cowan University and the great DNA there, coming from the work from Dr. Michelle Ellis and now taken over by Karina Price and the team there at ECU. Absolutely fantastic leadership around this. All of the universities, the TAFE colleges, have leaned in around the country to be part of this and provide the venues and events and some of the resources that you'll need on the day. So that's great. So if you know a teenager or you have a teenager in high school, there's still time to register. We probably need to start wrapping that up over the next couple of days. You generally, I think, around the grounds, there's T-shirts, the Pecan Plus T-shirts. So we need to know how many of those we need to have on hand for the day. So yeah, please, last minute registrations this week. So we're just over 2 weeks out now. So it's going to be an absolutely fantastic competition. A lot of the research shows that STEM, particularly for women in STEM, the interest in STEM for girls starts to taper off around the age of 12, 14. So keeping women connected into STEM, keeping, all young people connected into STEM and some of the technology and engineering challenges in those early is quite critical. So Capture the Flag really addresses that. That's why I'm so passionate about it. So don't forget, Pecan Plus, 3rd or 4th of August, that's coming up. So big shout out to all the campuses and the volunteers around the country who are going to work very hard that day to make it a great experience for everyone. So that is very exciting. So other things happening this year after a bit of a hiatus during COVID, we're seeing a return of something very interesting, very challenging, which could be confronting at times, but the missing persons Capture the Flag competition is back this year. We're going to have a huge event on September the 13th. So what is a missing persons Capture the Flag event? Well, open source intelligence is a critical part of cybersecurity. Knowing what's going on around the world, if you're a company that's making investments offshore or around, you need to have the ability to do open source intelligence. And it's not only that, it's what the bad actors are doing in the dark web, all kind of aspects of open source intelligence. But one of the key things is something that is really getting some traction around the world as we find there are a lot of missing persons that go disappear every year. Some of them, do that for personal reasons and just want to move on with their lives. Others, may have encountered difficult circumstances from someone else around them or in society, and it can be obviously stressful to the family and friends and loved ones of missing persons. So this year again we have the National Committee putting together this National Missing Persons Capture the Flag, where we're using open source intelligence to try and provide proper law enforcement agencies with new evidence that may not be part of their current evidence brief. So as you'd understand, in law enforcement, chain of custody of evidence is all very important, but also having a file and a brief to fully understand the circumstances around a missing person is quite critical. So traditional law enforcement doesn't always have all the resources and tooling to do that. So bringing together some cybersecurity experts that are really focused on open source intelligence and who are very good at finding things and hunting down information, they can be gathered together for this event. Now, it is a very interesting event, and I'm going to be coaching a team in this year. I may be even participating myself. So I'm very excited to be part of this. And there are a lot of resources around to help you prepare for this. So in there's an organization in the US called Trace Labs. They have a virtual machine that's been completely customized and built out with open source intelligence tools specifically for looking for missing persons. So that's a really great tool. Big hat tip to Mundell at Box Hill Institute for putting us in touch with that. It's a great resource globally that you can download and make sure that your tools are set up correctly for that open source intelligence activity. So big shout out to Trace Labs. They have a competition coming up in 2 weeks as well, but it's on at 3 o'clock in the morning, just before PK Plus. So I'm not sure all of us will get to that one, but yeah, it's a very worthwhile cause. You are contributing to the public good, but with any open source intelligence, there are boundaries and rules that you have to follow, obviously, because we don't want to undermine the efforts of law enforcement. We're there to support them and bring extra evidence to the table that they may not otherwise have. So that is absolutely critical. So there are a lot of missing persons around the world. Each case that will be part of this competition will have a case manager, and the people who are competing will find pieces of evidence and bring it back, and those evidence pieces will be tested and validated and then added to the case brief for the law enforcement officials to continue their work. So it's very worthwhile and very exciting competition. A big space conference coming up in Brisbane on August 20th, the realms of cyber. So space is very much one of those realms. We heard recently in Adelaide that the 5 domains are air, land, sea, space, and cyber on the big 5 realms or big 5 domains. Every one of those for the defence of nation and the defence of our companies are all very much interlinked. So the Rock-On conference is going to happen. The Realms of Cyber, they're going to have a particular space theme this year. I know Tarian, I believe, have just announced they're a silver sponsor of that event. So that's great. Big shout out to Tarian crew in Brisbane there. They're doing a great job in areas of cybersecurity and SOC and incident response. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic conference, and just recommend that to people as well. So if you're in Brisbane or can get to Brisbane or interested in any of the realms of cyber, that would be a great one to participate in as well. So that's pretty much it for this is a bit of a midweek update. I've got few things on Friday, so I'm not sure I'm going to do the usual Friday morning from outside Flinders Street Station, but yeah, just thought I'd touch base. There's a lot of great stuff going on around the country, and just thought a big shout out. Pecan Plus, August 3-4, Missing Persons CTF, September 13, happens to be Friday the 13th, so we can hopefully bring some good news on Friday the 13th of September. That'll be great. So, and don't forget the rock on August 20. So we will sign off with that for now, and hope you're having a great day. Big shout out to all the people who've been working on the CrowdStrike issue. We days like that come up in the industry from time to time, and I've had a few days like that across my career. So just thoughts with all the people who've been working so hard to bring that all back into line so that people can get back with what they need to be doing. So big shout out to the CrowdStrike people and any IT managers and people who've been affected by that. So there are better days. We quite often have bad days in the industry, but there's always better days coming. So thanks. I'll sign off with that thought, and over and out from QR5.